Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. It is Bruce Jordan, the Michael Jordan Hotel. Today we got James in the house. We are at the Reeco conference. And thank you tuning in for another episode. Today we're going to be talking about procurement automation and how we can master it in our hotel to save us a lot of money. James, what's going on, buddy? Good to see
What's
you.
going on, buddy? It's great to be here with you.
So now you're at Reeco. You have such a long history. I'm scared to ask this question, but how did you start in this business?
Loaded question. I'm glad you asked. So I've spent the last 23, 24 years in the hotels, various roles through operations, sales, and marketing. Most recently with a couple of great orgs here in the U.S. through the business development side. So
Right.
think about third-party management contracts, buying, selling, acquisition, hotel side, new development. And as it would happen chance 2 years ago or so, I met the co-founders of our firm, Reeco. I was introduced through a mutual colleague in the hotel space. Said, you've got to meet these two guys from Israel. They've got this amazing technology and solution that they'd like your feedback, thoughts, and input on. So, of course, I said, sure, I'd love to meet them. And as it would happen, we hit it off naturally. And, it opened my eyes to a technology and innovation. Now, I would never claim to be a tech guy, but I can say that I've dabbled a little bit in technology. And so I was quickly fixated on the fact that they had a solution for a real problem that we had in the hotel space, which was we're buying products and buying so much every day to operate our hotels, whether it's room supplies, food and beverage. You think about the engineering department, anything fast moving in the hotel that we're using to operate it every single day. Yet we didn't have any real advancements or technology behind the scenes that was driving this ordering, this procurement process. So I was immediately turned on to that because it brought to the table a technology and innovation that I thought, wow, when I was operating hotels, I could really use this. So as we discussed it further, they actually offered me a spot to be on their advisory board for the group. So I stayed in my role doing hotel development for about a year and a half to 2 years. And as things progressed and moved along with Reeco, we got through the pre-seed raise, and then it came up to a Series A raise. And I noticed that the momentum was starting to build. We were getting proof of concept and trial for our technology solution within hotels. Some very reputable management companies were trying us out.
Nice.
And I'm hearing these things and these stories about savings and value. And a common feedback I'd hear was, "Man, I wish I had this solution
Ha,
years ago." Right?
ha, ha, ha.
So happenstance occurs, and as we get to about the middle end of last year, they had talked about, well, how about joining the organization with us as not just a board member but a team member. So in natural startup mode, we were a scrappy company, a scrappy company with a team here in Miami, a team in Israel, our R&D team and our product team, and the excitement of bringing something, a solution that was addressing a real problem, a real pain point in our industry was exciting to me. So I made the leap, and I've taken over here and lead business development for Reeco.
Nice, nice. Tell me about some of the shortfalls that came out in operations
Sure.
when it came to procurement and purchasing, because man, I remember back in the day, purchasing was an absolute disaster.
Like it's boy, that's a question I can attack from so many angles. I think first and foremost is, historically speaking, the hotel business, the business of operating hotels, has been one that has relied on some tried and true processes. Unfortunately, those tried and true processes are very antiquated, very manual. So when you talk about procurement as a whole, even today we still see it. We rely a lot on pen and paper, Excel spreadsheets, very slow manual processes that frankly are costing people time,
Mhm.
potentially costing people money in the form of overspending, not having visibility into what they're buying, no assurance that they're buying the right product at the right price at the right time. So all these like micro pain points are accumulating or adding up into a bigger problem, which is procurement historically has been something that's worked and
Mhm.
people have been content with it, but they haven't applied innovation and technology to it to not only enhance what they're doing on the day-to-day of ordering, but make it better and simplify the process. And within simplifying it is creating things like visibility into the procurement process, demonstrating and showing value through savings and time and all these other variables. So I think, if in a roundabout way, what worked,
Mhm.
but we realize there's an opportunity to change and innovate there. And when you do so, it unlocks so much more. And that's what our solution
You
does.
know, speaking of solutions, I remember when I was a controller at a Crown Plaza. Like I started off in accounting in the hotel industry, and man, I had so much trust in the chef, you know. So we'll just be doing inventory, and we'll do the inventory, and I would give him the sheet, like, all right, go ahead and finish it up, and just bring it back to me. I enter it in, and something told me one day, it just clicked. Something said, man, you need to put these numbers in yourself. Yeah. And I put those numbers in myself, and it was like $26,000 worth of debt stock that he was counting as like regular area. And I was like, man, I was so mad. It's so mad.
And what an example. I was actually speaking to somebody about this today, and it pertains exactly sort of to the point you're talking about with inventory. When you think about inventory, historically speaking, you could have an F&B director, a chef, whomever might be touching the food and beverage side of it. And let's say it's, or even an accounting team member is going to do a inventory for a bar, and they're looking at their, counting their liquor costs. Well, you're taking this inventory, and it can be by hand, as it often is still today, or it could be through an Excel spreadsheet that they've built over the years and hasn't really evolved much. Probably the same sheet they've been using for the last 10 years, right, at the hotel. You're assuming a few things. You're assuming the count is accurate. There's no human error. They're reporting accurate prices. There's no dead stock. There's no missing items. And so we as hotel owners or operators are thinking we receive this inventory and we're betting that it's accurate.
Mhm.
But there's so many nuances that could be inaccurate or perhaps wrong in that inventory. One of them in particular that Reeco kind of addresses through its inventory module is the real true value of that inventory. And I'll give you the example with the sticking with the bar theme there, with buying bottles of bourbon and beer and anything else you need to stock your hotel bar. When you're purchasing through our platform, we understand and know the pricing that you've paid for Jack Daniels or this beer over a certain period. So as you're taking that inventory and finish it, that audit, that inventory is going to reflect the real value, what you've actually paid. So theoretical prices are no longer necessary, theoretical values are no longer needed because we know, or as the hotel operator, this is what I bought that for a month ago, 2 months ago, and this is what its true value is today. So therefore, we're providing them now with real time, again, more transparency into this inventory value. And it all kind of, again, a smaller piece of it, but it all kind of works together, right? The procurement piece, you add in the inventory component, we can talk about recipes and you bring that all, and all these little pain points add up. And when you have a solution, in the case of Reeco or any type of solution where you're getting more transparency and giving those operators more control, number one, but transparency to see what's truly happening in their operation, particularly in procurement, that's where you start to realize things like savings and value and everything else that is driven through our solution.
Man, listen, when I was doing inventory, they'll come in and they'll give you samples of this, and then next thing you know, the chef will buy it, and by the time you finish, you go on your original inventory sheet, and you're writing all of these new items. I'm like, I need a whole new list now. I need more paper, getting more paper. I'm writing all these new items. I gotta go back and update your spreadsheet.
Oh yeah.
How does Rico resolve that problem?
Yeah, that's a really good question as we think about the way Rico's procurement module works. So what happens is as you're doing your purchasing through our solution on our platform, the system is learning and understanding what you're paying for every single product. And of course, as it starts to think about that and you tie it specifically to the inventory in that case, the product price is represented every single time you're taking the inventory. Whereas traditionally you're going to be putting in, whether it's a spreadsheet, as you mentioned, a manual price. So you're making a lot of assumptions, or even worse, you're spending time having to go back and research what you paid for products, and all of these steps, which are very manual and are very much happening in hotels today, take time, and they take away from the ability for the chef or a manager or somebody at the property level to do the things they should be doing, which is delivering great guest service, driving revenues, all these other points that are probably more important than them figuring out what the inventory count looks like. So by knowing the price of what you bought a certain product at any given time and being able to pull that into the inventory aspect, we eliminate that entire step. We know precisely that this case of this good cost X, and this is how many you have in inventory at that count times whatever price, and this is giving you the real value. There's no more having to go back and look. There's no more updating spreadsheets. We even make it so it's a native app on your mobile device. So when you're literally taking your inventory from the mobile device, it's right there in their hands. And it could be from a phone, laptop, whatever have you. So
Man, that is
convenience.
beautiful. Oh man, I wish I would have had that 20 years ago.
That's what I said when I first met the guy.
The menu item reports, costing out your menus. The prices are rising so fast, like your head spins.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the things that Reeco can do when it comes to costing out your menus?
Yeah, I think you bring up a really valid point, especially in today's current conditions with tariffs and everything else. People are genuinely concerned about how things like tariffs and cost increases in general are going to affect margins within their hotels. And if you speak specifically to recipes, we're always looking at that. We actually have a recipes module where, again, going back to the procurement piece, if you're buying, your burger patty, for example, if the hamburger you're selling at your restaurant, we're always going to be able to provide you what that real cost is of that burger patty and the bun and every piece that goes to it. And through our recipe module, give you real time of what you're actually selling in your restaurant at maybe $20 for that burger, and knowing that, hey, based on what you paid for this patty or these patties in the last order, price has gone up of the patties. It allows you to give, again, visibility to look at it and say, maybe I need to charge more than what I'm charging today for my burger because I made that price up 2 weeks ago, a month ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever period it was that I created the menu. And I haven't really addressed that pricing since then. And since that was created, oh yes, price of the vegetables, everything has gone up, the meat, whatever part or component of that recipe. We're able to reflect that in real time, and it's all based on your purchasing history. So we're knowing exactly what you pay for every single ingredient that make up that best-selling dish that you have in your restaurant, rooftop bar, whatever it might be. And from there, we give operators the ability to make really great business decisions that could impact their margins, their profitability immediately. So they can say, hey, maybe the burger's not at the right price, or a product, a menu item, maybe we don't need to sell that one at all because the margins just aren't there, and replace it with something that's going to drive greater margins. And of course, have a immediate positive impact on their bottom line.
Man, I feel so bad for some of these international restaurants that get their products from overseas. Like, oh yeah, God, yeah. Man, now I see why American Chinese moved to China.
True.
It's gonna be cheaper. Man, listen, thank you so much for being on the show. How can everybody get in touch with you?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. Really excited to be here too, and thanks for making the time. So you can learn all about us at reeco.io. That's reeco.io. Or you can always find me, James Hansen, that's Hansen, through our website. Find me right there, or you can always reach out at jamesH@reeco.io.
And this is Bruce Jordan, the Michael Jordan Hotel, signing out. Thank you for joining us for another episode.